Good Friday morning, everybody. Chris here with High Seas Cruising, and welcome to the Cruise News. Today we're going to start off over in Europe because Europe has a new travel authorization coming for 2025, and this is going to affect people from the United States, it's going to affect people from Canada, and it is going to affect people from the UK. So the European Union's new travel authorization is going to require a new fee. It's going to have a fee to go along with it. You know, the European Union saying that, U.S. travelers are flocking to Europe ever since the release of the pandemic. Ever since the pandemic got over with, everybody wants to go and travel Europe. A lot more people are visiting. So what are they going to do? Naturally, they're going to make a few dollars off of it. We most recently saw this going on in Spain with new taxes in Spain. So it's not the first time we've seen an increase, especially when there is more tourism. And the European Union, well, it's no different. So beginning in 2025, both U.S. and Canadian travelers heading over to Europe will have to pay a $7.50 fee. Okay, now, not a real big fee. And keep in mind, this fee is good for 3 years or until your passport expires, whichever comes first. So if your passport expires in 2 years, your fee is good for 2 years. If your passport expires in 5 years, your fee is good for 3 years. So it's not like you got to pay it each and every time you go there. It's good for a little bit of time. Now, along with that, of course, you have to fill out a form. You got to fill out the entry form. And that too sounds pretty easy. It says it is a 10-minute process. Now, one little add-on to that though, there is the possibility, there is the stipulation in there that you could have to do an interview. You could have to submit extra documentation, and that can delay you for up to 30 days. So for travelers, particularly for cruisers, since we're a cruising channel and we talk about cruising, if you're planning on a European cruise in 2025 or beyond, this is something you're going to want to pay attention to. You're going to want to apply for this as soon as possible, because it doesn't say, well, what would trigger the delay? What would trigger an interview? What would trigger extra documentation? And if you're below that 30-day mark and you go fill out your paperwork and that's suddenly something that they want, this can affect your cruise, because without this, you won't be able to travel into the country. Now, so far, they haven't released that information other than it's coming for 2025. It originally was actually supposed to go into effect here in 2024, but it has been delayed a full year. But just a little bit of information. If you're planning a cruise that's going to Europe, to the European Union in 2025 and beyond, kind of add that to your need-to-know checklist, add it to your required, make sure it gets there at the top. That way this is something you take care of, doesn't cause you a delay later on, and doesn't require you to miss your cruise. Because, cruise lines, they put it on the website, they send out emails, but you never know. Stuff gets through the cracks, so it's always best to be on top of it yourself and know what is required before you go. And finally, well, there was an incident on board the Carnival Magic, a pretty horrific incident as a matter of fact. So on the last sailing out of Norfolk, Virginia, Carnival Magic guests are in the main theater enjoying a show in the main theater. Now, keep in mind, before I go any further, let's just be clear. A lot of this is just the version of the story that is coming on the ship. Keep in mind that you don't always have the full truth and the full story with these kind of things. This is just the information that is being said and is known at this time. So everybody was in the main theater enjoying a show. Apparently there was an individual during the show who was being extremely loud, rowdy, being very disruptive during the show. Another passenger confronted him, basically, hey, be quiet, sit down, shut up. And it caused this individual to get angry, and he attacked the other passenger. Now, a bar glass was involved, and this incident has been reported, as a stabbing. Now, whether or not he hit him with the glass and it broke and went into his skin, whether he broke the glass and then stuck him with it, not real sure about any of that. It just was reported as a stabbing. Now, the victim was treated on board by the ship's medical team, but the exact extent of his injuries, again, we really just don't know. Now, the attacker, the person who did the alleged stabbing, they were confined to their cabin for the remainder of the cruise, and they have received a lifetime ban from all Carnival Corporation products. So, no Carnival, Princess, Holland America, none of them a complete lifetime ban, and law enforcement is now involved. So local police and FBI both involved in this case. And if we get any more specific information, we'll share it with you guys. Now, here's the question that I have for everybody out there. If you're in the main theater and there's an individual and they're getting loud and they're rowdy and they're disrupting the show, would you confront them? Would you tell them to sit down and be quiet? Would you tell them to shut up? Because at this point, we don't know if or how much alcohol was involved. Was the person who did the attacking, had they taken full advantage of their drink package for that day? Did alcohol play into it? Not, Carnival has not said. But if you get up in the theater, you approach somebody, you're like, hey, you need to shut up, you need to sit down, and let's just say, purely for hypothetical sake, that, they are 15 drinks into that drink package. How are they going to react? Are they going to do something exactly like this? Hop up and try to stab you with a bar glass? Now, me personally, I think the cruise ships ought to be doing a little bit more to help with these types of situations. Because look, this is in the main theater. There is a show going on stage. There are people behind stage. There are people up in the technical booths. There are, crew members inside the theater. This guy's being extremely loud, rowdy, and obnoxious. Well, why didn't one of them have security come and take this guy out before it ever got to that point? Why didn't somebody, a crew member, go to this person and say, hey, excuse me, you got to tone it down. You're disrupting the show. Hey, you're causing a disturbance to everybody around you. Really, should it really come down to another passenger having to even deal with this type of situation when the ship should be dealing with it first? Particularly in a place where there are crew members also in the room. So I don't know. In my opinion, I don't think it should ever have been able to escalate to that, point, to that level where now we got stabbing each other. I mean, who wants to go on their cruise vacation? Who wants to save up for their cruise vacation, get on the ship, come across, obnoxious people, because it seems like there's always one, but come across the one obnoxious person while you're trying to enjoy something on the ship, and next thing you know, you got stabby going on. Nobody wants that on their cruise vacation, and yeah, I think the cruise lines need to step it up a little bit and get these people before it can ever escalate to that. But let me know what you guys think. Would you confront the person? Would you not? Would you inform a crew member and have the crew confront them? Or would you just let it go? The show will be over soon, and then you can go about your day and do something else. All right, and that's our cruise news video for this Tuesday morning. I hope everyone out there has enjoyed today's video. If you have, do me a favor and hit the like button. If you haven't done so yet, do me a favor and hit subscribe. It is free to do so. Helps our channel grow. Let you know anytime we put out a new video. Hope everyone out there has a really great day. And like always, we will see you out on the high seas.